Alright, y'all, so I got a fresh fade. I'm having a good day because we won't be looking at some scammers who are not having a pleasant good day. So if you haven't really been paying attention to the Elizabeth Holmes situation, she was just convicted this week due to wire fraud and defrauding investors as well as patients. And today I just want to go down a rabbit hole and see just the whole crux of the situation because I haven't really been following her for the past few years.
Star in the tech startup world, now convicted criminal facing 11 years in prison for defrauding investors. ABC's Elizabeth Holmes has more from Washington.
Will you be making a statement today, victim?
This morning, one-time billionaire and Silicon Valley rising star Elizabeth Holmes is facing more than 11 years behind bars for misleading investors about her failed blood testing startup Theranos. The 38-year-old, who's pregnant with her second child, addressing the court in tears Friday.
So she's going to jail while she's pregnant? That's crazy.
Saying, "I regret my feelings with every cell of my body." Holmes promised technology that would transform healthcare with just a few drops of blood. The hype attracted big investors, ballooning Theranos' valuation to $9 billion in 2014. But
like, imagine having $9 billion. Like, we're not really having $9 billion, but having a company worth $9 billion, like, I cannot fathom that. And the fact that she just scammed and schemed not only investors, but also patients too, like, it just astounds me.
But then, Holmes' claims turned out to be far from true. In January, she was convicted of 4 counts of criminal fraud and conspiracy. Federal prosecutors were seeking a 15-year prison sentence, calling it one of the most substantial white-collar offenses.
Wait, 15 years? 15 years? What? For $9 billion? That is such a, like, lenient punishment. Like, that is crazy.
In Silicon Valley history. But Holmes' attorneys made the case for just 18 months or
18 months or house arrest. They literally trying to get this woman house arrest. And what astounds me the most that her lawyers, when are you trying to get her to 18 months house arrest, they were saying that she wasn't a full-grown adult when she formed Theranos. And my main thing is just like, you weren't a full-grown adult when you formed Theranos or whatever, you can get that passed. But you continued it for years, almost to a decade, doing this stuff, knowing you were doing wrong stuff like that. You can't be excused for that. I'm sorry. Experts called it like, it's just something like a high school student will put on their college application saying like, oh, I really want to serve the world. I want to create a better world, a positive impact on others. I want to bring light into the world. Type mentality is going in details about some of the stuff she's done, plans to help victims or plan to help victims during her sophomore year of the Kosovo War, and her efforts raising relief money for the earthquake in Turkey. Like, this sounds like them, like, typical, like, Christian, like, service trips, going to Africa, taking pictures and stuff, like, oh, look what I did, like, I did this. Like, that's the vibe it's given to me now. They're describing her as a teenager who had 4 quarters of college and some laboratory research experience under her belt, but no business or management experience. Then how was she able to raise, like, and be able to get, like, $1 billion net worth if no one believed in her? Like, she has to have some type of pull. Like, people just don't throw that money around. You have to have some legitimate, like, business plan, 5-year plan, market valuation, whatever to it. White collar crime get off too easy.
House arrest. As part of her plea for a more lenient sentence, Holmes submitting 130 letters of support, including one from New Jersey Senator Cory Booker.
What is Cory Booker trying to bail out a criminal? No. Like, for defrauding people. Like, defrauding investors and patients, that's crazy. Alright, so I actually pulled up the actual 130 letter, like, document. Like, they have it online from The Verge. Like, so I'm gonna link it down in the chat. If y'all wanna look at some of the examples of it, I might pick out a few from this video. But this is comical. Like, I don't believe it. Like, they're really trying to get this woman acquitted. They about to get roasted. Let me see what Cory Booker said. Dear Judge Davila, throughout my 20+ years in public service, from my time on New York City Council as New York mayor, whatever, we know what you've been doing. I knew Ms. Holmes for about 6 years before charges were brought against her. We first met at the public policy conference hosted by the late Senator John McCain, bonding at a dinner when we discovered we were revolted vegan. Bruh, what does this have to do with the trial, man? Like, I'm sorry, like, this is comical. In the years since, I've always been struck by the way our conversations focus on her desires to make a positive impact in the world. To me, Ms. Holmes was not most interested in talking about world events and national and global challenges. She often passionately spoke of her interest in philanthropic causes and meeting global challenges like climate change and, oh, get out of here. For my faith, I believe in and try to hold myself to difficult standard of unconditional love. Thus, although our communications have been more limited in recent years, I continue to consider Ms. Holmes a friend, and I still believe that she holds on to hope that she can make contributions to the lives of others, and that she can, despite mistakes, make the world a better place. I pray for all those who have been suffered as a result of Mrs. Holmes' actions, and I pray for her. I pray for her that in the coming years she is able to fulfill her desires and more humble hopes to be of meaningful service in our world. I believe she shares these prayers as well. Bruh, if you don't get this old college recommendation letter out of here, like, she got crazy beady eyes. I'm sorry, like, it's just like she's looking straight directly into your soul. Like, she's, nah, I can't do that. The Edison.
So Theranos and Elizabeth's blood machine did not work. It gave inaccurate results, but that didn't stop her from putting out delusions.
Yep.
She literally got ready to put it out on the market in the real world. Millions of people got lab results from a machine that literally didn't work. And what's so sad is that even got diagnosed with cancer inaccurately. Healthy people were told
The judge ordered Holmes to report to prison in April. She hasn't confirmed her due date, but that would likely be after her baby is born.
Yeah.
She is expected to appeal the sentence.
You're about to go to prison because you defrauded patients, you defrauded investors, venture capitalists and all that, and you're trying to get like 18 months or a house arrest. Like, I understand you're a mother, but at the end of the day, they treat white-collar crime so easily, whereas just like other crime, like petty crime, it's like they want to sentence you to death for just doing like simple stuff. And to give people a lot of context about what Theranos is and basically why this is such a big deal, Theranos is basically, or was, a private company. It was mainly a biotech company to do blood tests, like they said in the article. And basically right here it even says like it has devised blood tests where it required like small amounts of blood to like read like many different things such as diabetes, and it dubbed a lot of its collection vessels an entertainer, as well as the blood reader, the Edison machine. The biggest kit about the Edison machine, it was supposed to be able to communicate the internet seamlessly to receive instructions for which blood tests to perform, as well as communicating back from the internet, as long with comparing, you know, blood tests or whatever specific test you perform on the blood with the available data on the internet. So herein lies where the problem starts, because right here it says the patent wasn't clear about how much blood Edison needed to be able to accurately perform the test or read the results. And some people said it could be, you know, at least 10 drops of blood, but another section, it will need less than 1 drop of blood. So that is unclear. And so a little bit about Elizabeth Holmes. She was a Stanford dropout, and basically she had the idea to do this. A lot of the money she got from her education trust, because I'm pretty sure her parents are loaded. Basically they used it to make Theranos, and as you can see right here, people were investing like millions and millions of dollars to open up clinics, you know, retrofitting clinics to be able to have Theranos technology. So the investigation started in, 2015 when a Stanford professor, ironically, wrote in the AMA, journal saying that there's been no peer-reviewed research on Theranos or any of its technologies, which is the first major red flag. Like, peer-reviewed research, while the process is annoying, gives you a lot of credibility. If you don't see any peer-reviewed research or any, people from their own colleagues, vouching for the ideas or having viable, testing of different ideas, do not try that product, because it's either faulty, it's either unproven, and it's probably not safe for you even to have it in the first place. Later in that same year, Wall Street journalists even reported that a lot of the Theranos used many traditional blood testing machines instead of the company's own, what they call it, the Edison machines, to run its tests. And basically that's because it was found that the machines actually provided inaccurate results. That's the second biggest red flag. And after that article was released, there was seemingly a snowball effect, going forward, because the FDA started pulling its notes from 2014 and 2015 whenever they did a lab sweep investigation and found out that the blood collection were not validated under actual simulated use conditions and were not reviewed and not approved by designated individuals prior to issuance. So basically, I'm pretty sure they just released a untested product out in the market. Another FDA inspection also noted that Theranos was a Class 2 medical device, meaning that Theranos had to have special labels or meet certain performance standards and perform post-market surveillance of the device, which they did not do. And after going back and forth about it in later 2015, that's when Theranos decided that they're going to pull most of their tests from the market, you know, because they were found to be fraudulent. Medical centers, multiple centers, institutions, and health departments started noticing problems in their facilities, such as 2015, the Arizona Department of Health Services. They revealed some of their Scottsdale lab was not meeting, you know, regulations. In 2016, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services did a inspection and basically found that the famous Edison blood analyzer will only use on a small number of patients right here. During a follow-up investigation by The Verge, it was found out that federal officials inspected Theranos inventions 2 years after it was first started testing on patients during a surprise inspection by the FDA. So this wasn't even routine. This was just something like, you know, oh, like a pop quiz, like, oh, we're here to test you real quick. Even in 2013, a lab inspector found that it could not even perform 10 different blood tests or had the standards to even perform those tests. Like, there's so much liability, there's so much, you know, malpractice and fraudulent behavior going on here that it just astounds me. Like, they weren't shut down sooner. In the same year, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services were able to revoke their CLIA, or the Clinical Laboratory Improvement Amendments, basically voiding, you know, Theranos from being able to perform diagnostics or health assessments on human subjects or their blood. So basically, for them to even test individuals, they lost that right in 2016. Later that year, they laid off about 155 people, which is about 41% of their workforce, as well as they failed a second major U.S. regulatory inspection and starting to get sued by Walgreens as well as the Arizona Attorney General. Like, this is some serious stuff because, like I said earlier, you're not only affecting the lives of people who bought into you, people who donate money to you, money is going to come and go, but you're affecting patients. If you don't have basic laboratory safety for patients, that is a huge red flag. You literally just can't let that slide, an untested product out to millions and millions of people. And do more research on your products, because this happens not more often than you think. This is insane to me. Of course.
And made people think that they had cancer is because her ex-boyfriend and ex-business partner, Ramesh Balwani, gave her debilitating PTSD. They're claiming that he controlled everything she did, like how much she ate, what she could do, where she could go. He would read her messages, and he would throw sharp objects at her.
What?
She has lied for years, and she has not taken any accountability for any of her actions, including.
Exactly, so that just excuses that you just put a fraudulent product on a thing, you just probably harmed millions and millions of patients. And like Dr. Ryan said, this is something you shouldn't take lightly. This was supposed to be a tool that was supposed to revolutionize the world. People bought into this idea. People just don't give money out left and right. And you basically defrauded them using other companies' blood testing equipment. Couldn't even provide accurate results of, the Edison equipment, as well as it wasn't even peer reviewed. FDA had a surprise visit and even said that, they said you're not up to par, your lab's not up to par, and put patients at safety, in danger, just for testing the equipment. So no, she don't get a free pass from me. Honestly, even more than 20 years, I'm not giving her a pass. And what's crazy to me is two things. One, people always has this narrative that they're more scared of urban environments because of crime. They're scared of going to minority people, color communities, because they feel like they have to clutch their pearls, lock their kids up, because they might be a victim of crime. But at the end of the day, you got white collar crime like this going on every day. Nobody bats an eye. No one has the same ferocity they have for petty, I wouldn't say minor crimes, but community based or urban crime. My second thing to note is that this stuff happens all the time in Silicon Valley and Wall Street. People be getting nickeled and dimed left and right every day. And we often bail these people out whenever the recession comes, because we think they're going to prop the economy when they're actually getting richer and richer. And you got people losing their jobs right now. I think Amazon just, fired tens of thousands of people from across the country. People losing their jobs while all these billionaires and stuff are getting more money and don't not suffer the consequences of their actions. And so yeah, absolutely, she needed to serve a full term of her sentence. But with that being said, that's the video for today. So if you like what you see today, like, subscribe, comment, all that wonderful good stuff. You know, do what you need to do. If you want to see more reaction videos, here's like my last reaction video right here. So go like it up, all that wonderful good stuff. And stay warm, stay frosty, depending on what part of the country you're in. And peace out.